Jason Hopper. I am a high school teacher. I teach media arts, and in my spare time I work on a lot of just fun projects. I'm really into restorative, kind of like either that or upcycling projects, but today I guess we're talking about the garden I've been playing with, which is a hydroponic garden that will eventually become an aquaponic garden. So we are looking at our squash right now. The one we're looking at right now is one that I grew up from a seed. And so I started off in a little incubator kind of setup and then kind of let it grow. These other ones I bought in the like $3 pots that you'd get in the regular home and garden store. So this is a yellow crookneck squash. And then we have a zucchini kind of mixed in the back there. It's hard to tell the two different leaves, but they're blending into each other. This is cucumber. This is a Japanese cucumber. There was like a regular cucumber plant here, but the cabbage worms stole all of its leaves, and it has just been dwarfed now. It's not going to go anywhere. But this guy's produced one decent cucumber this year, and that's been my big challenge, is getting these little pods to transform into cucumbers. So I'm not 100% sure if this one has been pollinated or if this cucumber is going to make it. But what happens is that if at some point they don't turn into a cucumber, they turn into this. And that means it's, I'm not even sure if these are active seeds to where you can do anything with them. But that's what we have left over. So we have our squashes and kind of gourdish kind of food over here. This rack is all kind of like a wild strawberry, and I call them garden candy because really the only thing they're good for is for me to grab one or two of them as I'm gardening and snack on them as I go. There we go. That's about as big as they get. They're tiny little things. This is a larger variety of strawberry, and I want to call it Seaside. I think Seaside is the variety. So you can see I have hopefully at least one berry coming through. That hasn't been a big producer either. This is moving into my herb section. This is a spearmint that I actually just picked up today. The grocery store, Save Mart, had some really great deals on plants. So I picked up a fresh basil. This is a new one. This is my old one, which looks like a baby, but he's coming back from a really horrible cabbage worm attack. You can see some of the old damage here from the cabbage worms. Almost the entire plant was eaten. And so this is a purple basil, tastes very similar in flavor, but has a little bit more of an artistic kind of look. And so this and this plant were planted at the same time, but somehow this one was able to recover quicker. So then we also have a Thai, our typical like parsley, and we picked up a sage today too. So that's all very exciting. I have it right outside my kitchen, so as we're cooking, I literally can say, hey, how do we want to spice up the meal tonight? Oh, you want some basil or you want some thyme? And I come out and I'll grab with my scissors and take it right from the garden bed, rinse it off, and into the meal. So that's kind of fun. Around the other side, we've got some just green onions coming up here. There's not much planted here anymore. I've moved things around quite a bit, and I'm trying to clone one of the indoor plants that we just got. We lost a stem, so I'm trying to clone it. I used a technique where, if I can uncover it, I use a banana. It's probably kind of rotten. Yep, there it is, a banana down there to help propagate the roots. Is that the right word? I don't know. It's a fancy gardening word. The roots, so that it is more likely to grow into its own plant. So, and then we have signs here. This is a gypsy sweet pepper, and then a good old jalapeno plant. But both of these guys were hiding in the shade of these big squashes, and I think they were stunted and had my cabbage worm attack. Those cabbage worms came out of nowhere and almost took out half of my garden, but that's because this is my first time growing and I didn't know how to be prepared for them. So on the back side here I have a vertical, this is all a lettuce trellis, and these are all kind of field lettuces that I think would normally grow more of a cluster or a ball, but they are stringing out probably because of gravity and everything, which is kind of interesting. The main problem I'm having was when I started this garden in March. I not even started in March. I started the construction in March. So I didn't really get anything planted and growing until June, which was a little bit late for a start to a garden. And then since I'm doing hydroponics, I'm learning some of the science behind that. And so I was using nutrients that were really great for growth, but didn't trigger the flowering response until now. It's too late in the season, so I'm having trouble getting the flowering response to turn into pollination and onto the fruit. I got excited just a minute ago because I saw a bee buzzing around. That was the first bee I've seen in my garden in a long time, and those are very important to help pollinate the flowers. So if I can get more bees to come through, I think I might have a crop. But until then, we'll just have to wait to find out. The good news is I've been able to grow some healthy plants in about 12 inches of soil using the hydroponic process here. So the way this works is this is what I call the fish tank, and it's going to be ugly, gross water inside. The color is 100% the color from the dirt and the organic material that gets leached back into the water. But it's fresh. It's presently getting air pumped through it, and it changes out every hour or so. And then underneath I have storage tanks. Now each one of these is plumbed together and is full of water. And so that's where all of the water drains into after a watering cycle. And then there's a pump in one of them that draws the water into the fish tank, and then when that starts to hit its level, it then fills the beds and is piped up into a nice strawberry rack as well as the vertical lettuce rack. And when it's done, gravity pulls it through and it gets captured and put back into the tank system for another time. So this would make the difference between a aquaponic garden and a hydroponic garden. A hydroponic garden uses nutrients that are added to the water, and that nutrients feed the plants. A aquaponic garden uses fish that you feed the fish, and then their poop comes out, and that's what becomes the fertilizer and the nutrient process for the plant. And so it's kind of a more of a complete ecosystem. To me, it's like a scientific train set that you get to get the different parts working together to create life, and that's a pretty exciting science project. I'm going to be adding tilapia. I could add about 25 tilapia to this tank in a very small size, and they will grow to plate size, at which point you can harvest them and cook them for dinner. So this is a big part of the drainage system. It's called a bell siphon, and what happens is there's an internal pipe that is a little bit lower than this cap. Actually, it's probably about right here. And when the water level on the exterior of the whole bed rises up to that level, oh, it triggered, it automatically starts draining out the entire bed, and you can see the water sucking in. What's cool about this is that as the water is pulled in towards the bottom and then up through the pipe, it actually sucks in oxygen into the roots of the plants, which gives them more of what they need compared to just a regular soaking, and where it doesn't drain away in a fast motion like that. This kind of adds the flood and purge method adds more life to your plants just by the way that you're doing it. So it's a really cool way to go.